Okay, we're live.
There it is.
Welcome to the first Exodus Collective live YouTube video. The first one ever.
Oh, I'm so honored.
If it all goes wrong, I'm blaming you, Jessica.
It will go A-okay.
Yeah, so basically today we're talking about Barbados, which is probably one of the most popular destinations when it comes to folks wanting to move to the Caribbean.
It is.
Jessica is someone who I've spoken with in the past. We've done an in-depth interview, but in the time in between you and I speaking, so much has happened, like volcanoes, the pandemic continuing to be nuts. There's been a lot. So I think we're definitely overdue a catch-up. You're looking a little bit like you're frozen. I don't know if you can still hear me.
I am. I'm just throwing it on my story really quickly. I should have told you that. But
okay.
There we are.
Yeah, I think you're still frozen. Like, there we go. Perfect. Yeah, so what have you, tell us, but for those who are tuning in for the first time and who haven't watched your video, I'll put the link below. But tell us your backstory. For how long have you been in Barbados and why did you move there?
This most recent trip has been I'm like 6 months deep, and it honestly flew by. But in terms of backstory, as I say on my channel, on my page, my dad is Nigerian, my mom is from Barbados. So I spent my whole life coming back and forth between Toronto and Barbados. I'm born in Toronto. And that's coming here in my adulthood as an independent is so different from growing up. So in my own adulthood, I'm like, no. This is where I need to be. It's the food, it's the culture, it's everything. And that's what made me kind of say, you know what? We're going there. And not only that, I have so much family here. I have more family here than I have in Toronto. So I just wanted my son to also be connected to the culture. And that's my backstory in terms of my connection to the island.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah. That's a good start. Yeah. So what I want to know is, like, quite often when people move, there's like this honeymoon period, like the sun is shining. I'm not freezing to death. I can, I cannot be stressed out. But 6 months in, how do you still feel about being Barbados? And what do you realize now about living on the island that you weren't aware of before when you were perhaps just in holiday mode? Because I think that's like a real shift for people at times.
I think people have this misconception. I'm just going to come. It's going to be paradise. It's going to be working from home all day, and it's just going to be great. And people who I already knew coming in that the island was expensive, so I was prepared to spend a lot on groceries. I had 7 barrels before I landed, so it wasn't a harsh reality for me. But I feel like people who came and didn't have an idea, they may be like, whoa. Yeah, I make more, my dollar is worth more, but the price is honey. So I think it's more of a price thing. And if you're working from home, you're working 9 to 5. So it's not all beaches and sunshine all day because you're stuck inside.
Yeah, I'm still gobsmacked on the 7 barrels.
Yeah.
What were in your 7 barrels?
Okay, like I mentioned, I have a lot of family, and I came with my son and my cousin. So someone's for a family, but at the same time, I had 4 or 5 months to pack food, cleaning products, clothes, beach chair. I had a beach chair in a barrel.
Yeah.
And because the beach chairs, you pay to rent them, right? So I was like, no, I'm good. I don't want to pay to rent. I'm going to pack a cooler, beach chair. So it's a lot of stuff that I knew that I would use over the time.
Yeah. So I'm figuring how this all works, and I'm encouraging people to ask us questions. But I'm saying, ask away. But yeah, no, it's such an interesting thing. The cost is definitely a factor. And I think, the ability to just order something on Amazon Prime and it arrive the next day, you don't have that.
No.
If you don't pack it, you're not going to get it. Or if you're going to get it, it's going to be like with a 3-week delay and a whole lot of importation tax to pay. And that's something
now with the virus situation, waiting for packages is that much longer. So it was already slower because of the time it takes to get here. But now with the Canada Post and a lot of couriers are not guaranteeing 2 weeks, 5 days anymore. They're not guaranteeing any time because everybody's ordering online now and things are backed up.
I'm literally getting shivers as you say that.
Yeah.
Wow.
You have to hope somebody's coming in bringing something for you.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. That's really intense.
Yeah. But I mentioned in our last video how ordering food like Uber Eats was a bit tricky. I was wrong. There's a food delivery service. My friend corrected me on that. So it's Hopscotch Fetch, I think, and then you can get food like it works the exact same way as Uber Eats. So there are food options for ordering at home.
Okay, sorry. I'm gonna try and like not focus on this delivery thing because like that's a life changer. But for those who are in a similar situation, what are some essentials that you will definitely need to bring with you that you will struggle to access in Barbados that might have been really easy? For me, it's a spare laptop. I work remotely. If my laptop goes down, I can't be messing around trying to find something else, and to pay for something in Grenada is going to be massively overpriced. I don't know what the situation is like in Barbados, but can access to tech or anything else? What should people make sure that they have covered?
Zoe, it's so funny you said that because my laptop crashed on me.
No.
Yeah, and I haven't been able to. There are options, but based on what I want and for me to be producing like videos or also working, I couldn't get the quality one that I wanted. So you're right on the nose with that one. But in terms of essential feminine products, it's not that it's not accessible here, but there's a hike up on the price.
Wow.
So yeah, if you can go to the pharmacy and just buy the whole aisle, you're gonna be here for a year. Definitely do that. I think kids' clothes, if you have kids.
Yes.
Yeah, your kids are always growing, so you're gonna want to have a few sizes up in shoes and clothes and all that stuff. Because my son had a growth spurt, and like luckily, I have a problem with old babies, so I'm always trying to get things bigger. But there are things that he outgrew in a quick 4 or 5 months.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
See, Barbados always seems better to me. Like, you guys have amazing shops. You've got loads of options. Whereas in Grenada, like, if you don't buy it, you're going to be something made in China. Buy something that's made in China that's going to fall apart in like a week, and you're going to pay 10 times what you'd have paid for it in the UK. Yeah. You can go clothes shopping in Barbados. No, like,
yeah, you definitely can. There are quite a few malls, but I think what works best here for the locals is there's like a lot of different IG boutique shops. So people will go overseas, buy things and resell them. And though it may be a higher price, at least you're familiar with getting an old lady product, or I don't know, the Gap or wherever you're getting. People are going overseas and buying them and bringing them in. So
yeah,
that's it. Wait,
we have a question from Toni.
Transition. Coming from the city, it's a big difference, and I would say, so because as you know, you're from Toronto, you know that it's incredibly diverse. So growing up in school, it's like there's somebody from Bangladesh, somebody from China, somebody from Vietnam. There's so many people in your classroom that are from all different places, and it's not to say that Barbados is not in that direction, but we're amongst us here. So that's been a bit different. And even my son was like, everyone looks like me because he's dark, right? So I think that's something to get used to. Transition, I think just the price difference, but everybody is so welcoming and helpful, and there's always going to be people willing to stop traffic to help you get to a different place. So I think that's what's made it great, and my family too.
That sounds like a great combination. Toni, thank you so much for your question.
There are benefits too, because your neighbors, you're going to know your neighbors. Your neighbors are going to be willing to help you and talk to you, and you're going to be in a community versus Toronto, where like some people you've been neighbors with for 4 years, 5 years, 10 years, and you're like, I don't even know who that is. I see her. You know what I'm saying? And you know how you're from Grenada, so you know on the islands, people see you pass your friend and it's the same license plate, so you kind of hail them up and shout them out. Yeah.
I thought Grenada was the only place. Like, who knows people that have license
plate? How do you even know who that is? They're like, yeah, man, I told you.
There's no hiding place. It's hilarious. I love it, but it's hilarious. So we've got a couple of other questions, but I want to check in with you. What was it? This is not necessarily the most relevant question, but I'm super curious. What was it like in Barbados at the time that the volcano was?
Oh my goodness. It was dark, literally quite dark. The first 3 days were rough because I love the morning. I'm like, good morning, the world and the sun shining. So to have no sun, no AC, because you can't build the AC when, yeah. And I don't want to sound like a complaining because people had to, of course, evacuate. But those are some of the realities that we had to face. Cleaning up, not going outside for like 4 or 5 days. My son has asthma too, so you always want to be careful of ash and stuff like that. So, but it was dark, and you're in the UK, so you know how it snows and the cars are covered. It was so weird to see that here because we see snow and cars being covered. We wipe them off. So to go outside and see cars covered in the island, it kind of reminded me of like a snowy night, a snowy morning, but actually nobody has brushes to wipe them off.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it was an experience.
Yeah, well, I'm glad you're all safe. With your son having asthma as well, that must be pretty scary. Yeah. No, and I think I even haven't figured out how to get my head around it, but I think just understanding that the Caribbean is a region that has some islands have active volcanoes, some islands are very much in the hurricane belt. So you there's only so much you can plan, but at least taking that into consideration is
it's like we're really neighbors in unity, because if one suffers, it's kind of we're all suffering, because that volcano affected, of course, St. Vincent, St. Lucia, and Barbados. And if a hurricane were to hit, it's gonna affect multiple islands. So it's kind of like we stand together, which is beautiful, but nature is just like gorgeous, but at the same time.
Yeah. But one of the things that I loved about such a sad situation was just the way that the islands came together.
It was so beautiful.
I was telling my English friends about it, and like, oh, I haven't even heard. Whereas like the Caribbean community were already like getting barrels together, donations, water, like, I think we are amazing.
It doesn't matter where you are. If you're in New York, Los Angeles, Toronto, UK, and your friend is from St. Vincent and you're from Barbados, we're all going to be like, all right, nope, we're going to get this thing going. So even if you're not on the island, your feet are not planted, it's still in your heart. And like that sense of like community is very much active, and I love it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. We have another question/comment from Sharon. Listening in England, planning to move to Antigua and Barbuda. You should check out one. I've got 2 interviews from Antigua and Barbuda. Go through, if you haven't watched them already, definitely watch them. And your brother moved to Grenada. Yay. Love it. Whereabouts in Grenada did he move to?
I need to come to the Spice Island.
Honestly, they're a direct. In fact, I'm not going to share all of my business online, but I might be going via Barbados to Grenada, because that's the only way. So
you mentioned if it's more than one day, then let me know if I can like run by your quarantine hotel or whatever and come shop.
No, I can't handle. I'm traveling with 3 kids, so no. Could you imagine having to quarantine? No, I just want to get there. But you should come. You should definitely come.
Of course, I'm going to go everywhere. Antigua's on my list for sure. St. Lucia, then Antigua. One of my good friends is from there, so I need to come.
That's another thing. In terms of inter-island travel, because we're going to go on to the digital nomad visa for those who don't have Caribbean ancestry. Is it easy to travel from Barbados to Antigua and other islands, or like what's the inter-island travel situation like at the moment? Do you know?
Yeah, I know that right now St. Lucia partnered with Barbados, so if it's called like a bubble travel. Therefore, if I'm traveling to St. Lucia from Barbados, I don't have to quarantine. I'm just free to, because the prices are so low, I'm free to just arrive. But Liat is offering some great prices, I heard, around all the islands. That's the airline, Liat, Liat. And you can get from one island to the other quite easily. Wow.
That's good. Yeah, because I know Grenada, I think, and I forget which islands, but it can be a lot for people in the UK who are used to being able to hop over to Greece or Spain. Like that's not the prices you're going to be paying. It can be quite pricey, but to at least know that there is the option to be able to get on and off the island is really important. And that kind of goes to the digital nomad thing, because many people are kind of wondering, why would I pay to go and stay on an island that I can stay for free? Like if I have a passport that allow me to stay for 3 months or 6 months, why would I pay extra? And for some, you tell me your perspective and what you've seen from your experience. But if you are planning to island hop and you want to be able to come back without any problems, knowing that you have that peace of mind with a visa that does allow you to come and go. Like, I think that's definitely something worth considering. But tell me your experience, because Barbados has like completely blown everyone out of the water with this visa. Like, your prime minister was on morning television everywhere. So what's it been like?
It's called BTMI, it's Barbados Tourism Marketing Inc. They went hard with their marketing for this visa, and I like you said, I've seen it everywhere. People are saying it to me, I'm like, I don't need this. I'm Barbadian by descent. Like, don't diss me. No, but my process is a bit different because, like I said, my mom is from Barbados, therefore I'm entitled to citizenship here. But people that I've connected with who have both of whom have got it and who are strongly considering. It's great because, let's say, for example, you're doing a staycation or there's catamaran cruises. The locals get a different price. And what a lot of different places are doing is saying, all right, if you have the welcome visa, you can also get the local price. So that visa now automatically locks you into some discounts in like tourist activities or staycation rates and all kind of stuff. So it's great on that front. However, if you want to island hop and you're not going to be here for a year back to back, coming from Canada, you're already guaranteed 6 months here. So by the time you leave, if you come here for 3 months, you go away, you come back, you get another 6 months. So it's really up to you and how you want to live is where I would say the visa comes in handy. But if you just want to island hop, then you may not necessarily need it because you're leaving and coming back.
Yeah, for sure. And one of the things I found quite interesting is because I'm like eavesdropping all of these Caribbean groups, pretending that I'm actually from the place when I'm not, when I'm clearly heading to Grenada. But,
the secrets are out.
I know, I'm scared I'm going to get kicked out of the Jamaican group, but I show the island love. But anyway, the Barbados Digital Nomad group, one of the things that I notice is like at times people are like, I'm here, what's going on? And have you had people reaching out to you who've made the move and they're like, how do I meet people? How do I connect? Is that something that you've come across? Because sometimes it feels like there's a gap in terms of finding your tribe, finding your crew.
Yeah. So funny enough, I'm actually in no group. I don't know. Nobody's invited me to anything, and I'm pretty cool. But people who have reached out to me, we've hung out. I have games night at my house like every month, and they're wild. I don't know if you follow me on Instagram, but like I actually went and bought more games for games night because like it's a thing.
Wow.
When anybody reaches out to me, I make sure that they have a good time, connecting to the right people. I try really hard to do that, and that's how I help out, but I'm not in any groups. So I would say in terms of finding your tribe, like one girl, I'm going to shout her out, Daisy. She came from New York, and she's in an expat group, but we kind of hung out one-on-one, and she was like, it's kind of hard the same thing you said, to like just kind of, you're in a group, nobody wants to do anything, or people do, and like nothing goes as planned. So like, I'm happy that I met you. So I would just say, if you hashtag or you find anybody else, reach out, or I will even tell you, hey, I know this girl who's from here, try hanging out with her. Because I find sometimes doing things with less people work better than a group of 30 people and everyone's just kind of like throwing information around and no one wants to hang out.
Yeah. I'm just gonna like really unsmoothly go through some of the comments. Yeah. Sharon saying we are all one Caribbean.
I agree.
And brother has moved to Grenville. Nice. I'm always up for championing people who move outside of St. George's. Like there's more to Grenada than St. George's. I love the country, and also if you want value for money, getting out of St. George's really makes sense. So yeah, nice that your brother's in Grenville. Is he having a good time? And so whereabouts in Barbados are you based? Are you like, in which areas how would you describe the different areas if people are like not sure where to head?
Oh my goodness, this is an awesome question. I love Barbados, obviously. When I come, I'm generally on the South Coast. That's where my family is. I like to be close to everybody on the South Coast. And like, it's really touristy in the South Coast. That's like where Browns Beach is, and St. Lawrence Gap, which is like a strip of hotels and clubs and restaurants and stuff. Oistins is also on the South Coast, so it's a touristy little nook.
Because it cut out a bit when you said it. What's the area called?
I'm in Christchurch, which is the parish.
Okay.
Right. Parish of Christchurch, which is like incredibly touristy. There's a whole bunch of hotels here. That's where a lot of the popular spots are. Beaches like Browns Beach, St. Lawrence Gap, which is a popular strip that has restaurants, bars, hotels, Oystins, the fish fry, if you've heard of it,
Mm-hmm.
is also on the south coast or Christchurch. So that's where I am, but I'm not here because of the. I mean, it's great that everything's nearby, but it's just my family is nearby, so I like to be close to everybody. But if you're coming, you're looking for somewhere to stay, there are so many options. Each parish has something different to offer. So if you want to go in St. Philip, you're more like country, but still city accessible. It's really, really quiet. Depending on where you are. I mean, if you want to come and you're in St. John, that's like East Coast. It's so scenic, but it's country. If you want to go on St. James, that's West Coast. It's a platinum coast, and it's that for a reason because it's like where the celebrities stay. The way the beach sits on the water, it looks like gold. Wow. But there are so many options. Wait. Sorry, my son's in the background doing some wellness.
Oh, but that's okay. That's
anywhere
okay.
where you want to be, like anywhere. If you have a question about where you should stay, I think that it depends on what you see yourself doing outside of work. So if you're looking for accessibility and to be close to the hotspots, South Coast. To save money, you may want to be. Prices in St. Philip aren't that cheaper, but maybe trying St. Philip. But I always recommend if it's your first time working with a realtor, don't just try to do everything on your own because you want somebody who's going to answer all of the questions that you have.
Right. Yeah. And looking at co-working, but firstly, the accommodation thing, do you find that the Airbnbs, if you're looking to stay long-term, are affordable, or do you really need to go with a real estate agent who will do longer-term lets?
I personally don't find Airbnb, obviously everybody can do their own thing. I don't find Airbnb cheaper for long stays because there's so many costs. And I don't even find it cost efficient for short stays. Airbnb, don't come for me. But if you want that peace of mind and that comfort, because that's like the person who's going to advocate on your behalf, like the Airbnb, then by all means do that. However, for longer stays, do your checking with a realtor, or just go on Carib list, CARIB list, and you'll find a whole bunch of listings there, and then each listing has its own realtor associated with it, so you can definitely do that.
Nice.
Or you know a really great realtor, and I can always plug you in.
There we go.
Yeah, that's what I do. I answer DMs about moving here. My following is incredibly small, but like I go to work for you guys. I got you.
Yeah, same here. Like I've become like a real estate agent on the side, just not getting paid for it. But yeah, I would say Airbnb, like for the first week or two, if you have to try and find your feet. But beyond that, like at least in Grenada, most of them are so overpriced. Really overpriced.
Honestly. And there's so many fees associated with it, but some people want that comfort of knowing that, oh, I'm going to contact Airbnb. So I mean, if that's what makes you comfortable, then by all means. But personally, I wouldn't do that unless you're going to stay for a week and then try to negotiate with the tenant, with the landlord one-on-one.
Yeah. Okay, we got another important question relating to remote working, and that's Wi-Fi. So while you read the question, I'm going to have to say, like, I do these interviews week in, week out, and I can see you. You are clear. You're not fuzzy. You're rarely dipping in and out. So in terms of like quality of Wi-Fi in Barbados, I think you're a pretty good advert.
The Wi-Fi is pretty great. I don't find the data when I'm outside to be that great, like on my phone. I guess because I'm just so spoiled with Canadian 5G networks. But I mean, it does the job. I'm just like looking for like instant speed. It's just a spoiled North American culture that we have. But the Wi-Fi is pretty awesome. I haven't had any issues. In one of my apartments I did, but that was mainly because they didn't want to upgrade. But here it's pretty good.
Okay. And so is there more than one company? Because I know like in Grenada there's Flow and I think Digicel. Are there like a range of providers to choose from in Barbados?
As far as I know, Flow and Digicel.
Okay. Yeah. And then do you find that if you're like more in the country that there's an issue in terms of coverage, or does coverage generally seem to be okay? Do you know?
Yeah, my friend lives in the country, and whenever he goes home, whenever he's at home and I talk to him, the video seems to work a-okay. And he also works from home. So as far as I know, everyone out there has been doing great.
Fantastic. Yeah, I think solid Wi-Fi is pretty much an essential for those of us. You were, you were working remotely. Another question from Toni. This is an important question. Crop
Are
over.
they having crop over this year? So there's going to be no road festival, but there will be what I've heard so far. I don't think anything's been 100% locked in. There's still going to be crop over activities, so like parties leading up to it and such. But there's not going to be people are not going to be on the road in costume.
Okay. And what are the dates of crop over?
First weekend in August.
Okay. Yeah. So for those of you thinking about booking a trip, you still got time to book.
First and second weekend in August.
Nice. And so remote working. Do you work for a Canadian company?
I do, yeah.
Okay. And have you got used to just primarily working from home, or are there co-working spaces that you tend to go to as well?
But I must say my job I've been working from home since before all this ever happened.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, I've been spoiled on that front. But there are co-working spaces. However, my son's also doing virtual school, so I'm not able to just like up and leave and go to any place really.
Okay. Have you checked out any of the co-working spaces? Or are there any that
haven't been to any.
Okay. There are a few that seem really interesting. And so tell me, one of the topics that we didn't talk about, which is because I'm a bad mother, was your son. Like, what has the experience of adjusting been like for him? Because I think often for us as parents, like that, their well-being is something that's really important. So how's he found the process?
We actually I was late because we were in the ocean for a long time. And my boy had on his fins, his snorkeling goggles, and his boogie board. And he was like, we have to leave already.
Sorry.
And, so that just goes to show he is having a grand old time. But like I mentioned, I have so much family. I have my grandma had 11 kids, and then the kids have kids, and that's us. And now we have kids. So there's so many cousins around him. Therefore, he's always having most times having a great time, especially on the weekends and such. And he loves to be on the water. Anything to do with beaching and water, he's there. And fast food.
Nice.
So yeah, he's having a good time because there are kids to play with, and the ocean is nearby.
Right. And then, so, I mean, I guess it's different for you because you're not there permanently, or maybe you are. But one of the things parents often ask about is like after school activities, like what else is there for kids to do? Have you got any recommendations or things that you've heard that you think might be worth checking out?
Because there are there's in person is only starting to slowly reopen. So I haven't heard of any after school clubs yet. I walked past one and everyone had their masks on, and but I'm not sure of any activity after school outside of extracurricular like swimming. But I'll let you know. I'll definitely get back to you guys on that one. That's a great question.
Yeah, no, that's one of the things that's on my list. There's like a sailing club that I really want my son to go to. Whether he wants to go or not is another question. But there's so much
to do with kids, and there are swimming classes and art classes and all kind of stuff. But I think when he said after school, I just thought into a drop-in program or something.
Okay, yes, sorry. This is the English language going wrong between colonial places. Yeah, just like after school activities, or cool.
Yeah. All kinds of clubs and activities and karate and stuff like that.
Oh, nice. Yeah, no, that sounds perfect. And question from Toni. This is a really important question. Bank accounts. Have you opened a bank account?
No, I was just talking to a friend about this because I can open one. I can go there and open one. They just want, it's not as easy. So in Toronto, we just you can do it online and you just go, but here they want a job letter. I think she said 3 months banking statements from my original bank and an address here and something else that I'm forgetting. So I haven't opened one yet, but I will. And I'll clarify that. So just follow me out because I'm always putting updates and stuff on my stories or on my channel coming when I get back and get the computer that I want.
Yeah.
But I think it's necessary. But I don't know if Toni's gonna live here or relocate permanently, because if you are, you would need a bank account here, of course. But if you're Canadian, you can just use your bank card or your Visa or whichever, or withdraw.
Yeah. Now, honestly, the banking, no offense, and whoever wants to reach out to me in fact, a few people have reached out to me from banking, but banking in the Caribbean is a kind of a nightmare.
Yeah. Yeah.
From someone who's used to being elsewhere. Like, I'm sure for people on the island it works perfectly well, and I'm trying not to be judgmental.
No, they complain. It's okay. They complain.
Basics of opening it, like in Grenada, I went to like a number of different banks. They were saying they needed like job references, address, proof of address, a letter of reference from my bank. I'm like, my bank has no idea who I am. I am just a number. And now all of my banking is on my phone. If I call up like some digital app and like, please write me a reference, they'll think I've lost my mind. Luckily,
it is a hassle, but it's not just us. Like, locals also complain about the banking system too, so it needs to be updated.
Yeah, in Grenada there's a bank, cooperative bank, and there, if you have Grenadian heritage, it's pretty. I think I just needed my passport and some money, and that was it. I was able to open an account, but it can be very, very tedious. But there's one someone else was asking me about opening a bank account in Grenada.
It's also great because of the exchange rate. So whenever I want to take out, the exchange rate's always up and down. And then a withdrawal fee to take out from a bank that's not Canadian, right?
Yeah, I shudder when I think about how much money I spent in like withdrawals when I was in Grenada last. But you should all check out. Do you know TransferWise? It's like a money transfer. It was a money transfer organization or company, but now they started a bank. And that allows you to withdraw money without paying fees. And the exchange rates are really, really low. So that's what I'm recommending to people. And that's what I'm going to be doing myself, because
Let me write it down. TransferWise, WISE.
Yeah, but it's now called Wise. If you can get their app. Okay. And they're not paying me. It's just, I want to save you money. But yeah, you can just use it, have access to your money. And if it can't convert directly to, do you guys have Eastern Caribbean dollars or your own currency?
Dollars.
Right. So if they don't convert to Barbados dollars, they will give you the equivalent in the US. But anyway, check it out, read it. It's really useful and it will definitely save you money. But yeah, Toni, that's what I'd recommend for you, rather than the hassle and the stress of trying to open a bank account in Barbados.
Unless you want to be here long term, or you want to, I don't know, build something or something like that, then for sure.
Yeah. Sharon says check out what you need to. I guarantee it's going to be a lot. It's going to.
I've been there earlier this year, and it for sure. I remember job reference and address here. I don't know if they wanted my bank statement for my Canadian bank. I think so, but I recall her for sure saying job letter and address here to send my card to, my information to, my statements. I'm like, virtual statements or
yeah. Oh, you're funny. That would be nice. That would be nice. Okay, great questions, folks. Another one from Toni. This is Toni. Toni said, this is good info. Considering a move to St. Lucia or Grenada, but my Jamaican mother's Grammy is from Barbados. So I'm always interested in what happens there. And thanks, Sharon. Yeah, there are so many islands to choose from. And I think Barbados is a favorite for a reason. I think the infrastructure, like the amount that's on offer there, is really,
I'm biased, so I'm always gonna say Barbados.
Yeah, I mean, I can't hate. You guys have a reputation for a reason. So tell us, like, how do you sell it? Like the insider take on remote working from Barbados. Once you're done, what's the selling point for you? What is it that you love about the island, and what do you think should attract people who want to be based there?
There is So the beach is obvious. Food, and I think that honestly, what makes it great is the people, and that's that's it. Before anything else, it's like the people just make it great. Everybody's so welcoming. Like I said, people will legitimately stop traffic to help you, and I think that's so beautiful, especially coming from somewhere where it's like people look at you and look off if you fall down. People will stop, come out their cars, help you up, ask you where you're going. How can I help you get there? And I just think that's so awesome. So people, of course. Food, the food. It's the food, the vibe, and then there's so much to do even outside of the beaches. Like, we may not have Dave and Buster's or Canada's Wonderland, but the fact that you can still go hiking and then go swimming, or chill at a restaurant outside on the patio all day if you want to, or hang out with somebody in the backyard and just like be having good vibes. I think that's great, but People and food for me every time.
Yeah. What's your favorite? What is the Bajan national dish? Is it flying fish and cuckoo? Did I make that
It
up?
is. It is.
Oh, good. I thought I was
And
gonna
it eats so good too.
And what? Yeah. No, yeah. The
Some
food.
breadfruit, and some cuckoo, and some flying fish.
You're
Roasted breadfruit.
making my mouth water. I've got Sharon has some advice here. Freedom of movement. Yeah, that's definitely.
Yeah.
And also in certain instances, you can have freedom of movement as a CARICOM national. There are more criteria. But even as a self-employed person, there are options. So that's also something worth looking to. The one thing I would say for everyone watching, if you have the option to, apply for your passports. The number of people who've reached out and is like, my grandfather is from Trinidad, or my this and that. And like many islands, you can't do it through your grandparents. So if you have someone who is that connection, honestly, if not for yourself, for the generation to come,
exactly,
do it. Really, really do it. Have you got your Bajan passport, and how long did it take to?
I don't have a passport, but my friend who's also citizen, her mom is from Barbados, so she's a citizen by descent. I think she said hers took like 6 months or something like that, because she had her no, that was the citizenship card. 3 months, because she had to get hers sent from Barbados back to Toronto.
Yeah, no, that's probably good by Caribbean standards, 6 months. Yeah, no, I think probably on the website, I think for a Grenadian passport, it says it takes 6 weeks. I've yet to meet someone for whom it takes 6 weeks. But if you get it done in Grenada, one, it's cheaper. It's like 250. Don't quote me on this. Like, just check the Exodus Collective website because it has all the information. But it's something like 250 EC instead of £250. And if you get it done in Grenada, it takes 3 to 5 days. So,
oh wow,
yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing. I would highly recommend any Grenadians, if you want a Grenadian mom, dad, go get it done, because it gives you so many options. So many options. This is a question that always comes up when I try and avoid it. Dating.
How is the dating scene?
You're gonna get into trouble.
I'll say this. I will say this. I think that Caribbean men are absolutely beautiful, like physically, inside and outside. And I like that. I like when men are resourceful. Coming from the city, a lot of times men are not really resourceful because they don't have to be. So to be around somebody who could, I don't know, build a swing or cook a meal or fix their car when it makes a certain noise because they've seen their dad do it, or like they just do it growing up amongst each other. I think it's so gorgeous. And that's what I love about here is that a lot of the men are just like resourceful and go-getters, because you have to be a go-getter. You don't have welfare really offering you that thing, or like your mom working 4 or 5 jobs and making a stronger currency, So like people have this like hardworking mentality, which I love. But dating, I think there are some options. You're gonna have some options. Yeah, Caribbean. Yeah, like I said, Caribbean are the business. Sharon, I agree. I love them.
Yeah, I would agree. Yeah. Okay. So dating. So let me dig a little bit deeper. Do you ever have concerns or factor in the fact that you're like not from there? Like, how do they relate to, like, does that ever crop up?
Oh, because I'm foreign? Like, nah, they love foreign women. Don't worry about that. But the benefit is that I'm also really connected to the culture. So like it's not culture shock versus a man talking to a woman who's from a complete different background who has no idea what any of the dishes are or the lingo and stuff like that. I think you're frozen. Are you frozen? Frozen on an important question. Is it raining? She froze, y'all. Or am I frozen? One of us are frozen.
Oh, I don't know what happened there. Did I disappear as well? Did you disappear?
No, yeah, you froze.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Yeah.
What did I miss?
So you asked if it's like a cultural difference or like a shock or talking
Yeah,
to
yeah, the cultural differences.
yeah. For me, not so much because I'm in a Bajan household up north. So I'm accustomed to certain sayings like, for example, like if the man says, well, it's seeing on the back door, I'm not gonna be like, what do you mean? What does that mean? My mom says it all the time. Right?
What does it mean?
The sea doesn't have a back door, meaning when you go to the ocean, just be careful because there's no back door to exit through. Yeah, once you're out,
Okay.
you're out. Yeah, once you're out, you can't come back inside unless you can swim.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
for me, it's a bit different, but I can see why somebody who has no idea, it may be a shock in the relationship. Um, but a lot of the guys that I'm friends with love women from overseas because it's just a whole different something you never had before.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. I've heard that.
Yeah, exactly. But the women here are absolutely beautiful. So
Yeah.
that's no disrespect.
Yeah, I think that's one thing that I'm not looking forward to about going to Grenada is actually having to dress decently. Like Grenadian women don't mess. Like everyone is like perfectly turned out, hair done, nails done, and I'm just used to walking around looking like I'm
And
homeless. So.
that's honestly, people think they can come to the Caribbean and style people. I'm like, you cannot style anybody in Barbados. People just come out like hot. So leave that mentality at home.
Yeah, for sure, for sure,
Yeah.
for sure. You got a comment from Sharon that, yeah, Grenadian passport is the greatest possession. I think, especially in these times, like having options, we don't know what's going to happen. And I think as people from the diaspora having options is really, really useful. Jess, you've given us some really great insights. And if anyone has any other questions, please definitely post them up. If not, let's look at wrapping it up and see if maybe doing another session in 3 months' time. What's your plan? What is your plan?
So like long term living here
Yeah,
or going back?
short. Are you staying? Are you going back? Like what?
No, at some point I am gonna go back because I have some stuff to deal with at home and I want to repack 7 more barrels and come back.
Okay.
But I won't be back for long. I'll just be back to do some admin work, repack, and come back. But I won't be staying in Toronto for a long period of time. Ugh.
So that's it. You're exiting. You've basically exited. You're just doing it in stages.
I think even when I don't get older, when I age, I'm still gonna be bicoastal for as long as I can, and that's because there are also benefits to being in Toronto,
Mm-hmm.
the city, where but outside of repacking, you want to kind of catch up with family and just enjoy the city and do some fun stuff. Because I don't want my son to be completely disconnected from Toronto. I still want to bring him to Wonderland, which is a what do you call it, theme park.
Mm-hmm.
I still want him to have Canadian experiences, especially spend time with his uncles and stuff like that. So that's a major reason why I'll go back as well, is keep my son connected. But Barbados is Barbados for me.
Yeah, I know for sure. And I think, yeah, that's the thing. Well, I mean, who knows what's going to happen with the whole travel situation, but in theory, there's no reason why you have to spend 12 months in one place. For me as
Exactly.
well, Grenada is where my base will be, but I definitely don't intend on spending the entire year there at all.
Exactly.
So yeah, I think it often is seen as like a make or break move, but actually there are many ways in which you can just make it work for you. It doesn't have to be
Exactly.
one specific.
You're not locked into that 1 year. You can always go and come back and go somewhere else.
Yeah. Here's a comment on learning the language in Antigua. Do you know what? To be honest, I'm not even great with actually, no, I'm getting better, but with the Grenadian, like, especially in the country, there's times where I'm like, what? Sorry,
Oh yeah,
pardon?
people in the country have a different level of accent. It's always like so strong.
Uh-huh. Yeah. And I can't even imitate it. So unfortunately, my British accent is just there and hideous. Someone is asking, will this live be saved? Yes, it will. So you can replay. But if you want to ask us a question, Maurice, now is the time.
I'm here for it.
Yeah, there we go. Tony's talking about Caravana. Are you a regular?
I've been in Barbados for the past few summers, so I missed it. But I mean, it is fun. It's fun, but when you compare the two, I prefer crop over because the road it's just different. It's just so much more organized. So in Carabana, people are hopping onto the road march and slowing things down, and people are like, if you're not wearing costume, don't come in. But in here, in Barbados, nobody's coming in if they're not wearing costume. It's just so much better organized. In Toronto, you can't have open alcohol on the road, so people who do, they conceal it in their bottles. Here, the bands are literally feeding you alcohol. It's just, the Caribbean is just so different. And this is where soca originates too. So you want to be in the home of soca or even if you're here when a Bajan artist song comes on, everyone's gonna lose it. You know, in Carabana, yeah, it's nice, but the vibe is completely different. So I prefer it here, of course, but
yeah. And there we go. A lovely comment from Sharon.
Right, you can't be the Caribbeans like my Caribbeans be sweet.
Absolutely. Jess, it's been amazing talking to you. I love the fact that you are still in Barbados, and not only that, but making plans to spend even more time there.
Yes.
If folks want to reach out to you, I would definitely recommend watching the first video that we did. But other than that, what's the best way for them to get in touch?
Like I said, I answer DMs, and I'm always helping people I'm always helping people connect to the right people or get them answers to their questions. So always Instagram DM me at Jess. I think you'll put my name up. But the best way is DM, or my email is also in my bio. And I'm pretty quick at Instagram. I guess I check DMs.
Is that it?
Yeah, that's it. Jess, exactly. DM me, follow me, whatever. I'm always willing to help.
On IG. Perfect. One more comment from someone looking to move to St. Kitts. Celeste, do it.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
I love when people St. Kitts say St. Kitts.
I've been overwhelmed by the number of people looking to move to St. Kitts. So yeah, good luck.
Really?
Yeah, like by far and away. I think maybe the
I never would have guessed because it's a smaller island.
Right. Yeah. I'm not quite sure why, but like aside from Grenada, the St. Kitts is probably the one that I've got the most requests from, and the most requests from people outside of the Caribbean. So they're doing something. I think also their citizenship by investment program is attracting a lot of people who don't want to pay tax, which that's not really my focus, but it's there if folks are motivated by that.
I want to visit there.
Yeah. Okay, perfect. Thank you everyone who joined the live for risking us getting the technical stuff right. I think we did okay. Like
that was a lot of fun. I don't even want to go.
Yeah, more or less held out. But yeah, hopefully I'll do some more. Definitely get in touch with the Exodus Collective to find out information about other islands and to connect with other people who are looking to move as well. Get in touch with Jess if you've got Barbados specific questions. But yeah, thank you all so much for the support and the love. And Jessica, thank you so much for giving up your Sunday, and apologies to your son for making him get out of the ocean. But I hope
it's fine. He's having a great time. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it. I just want to say, like, if you guys are thinking about moving or relocating, whatever you want to do, I strongly encourage the shift and the changes. Go for it. It'll be a great experience. The islands are absolutely beautiful. There's food waiting for you, and sea and wonderful people. So just take the dive.
Perfect. Thank you, Jess, and thank you, Sharon, and to everyone else who tuned in. Highly appreciate it. And let's keep in touch. Have a wonderful week. Take care.
Thank you, Zoe.
Bye.